So we have covered a lot of theory today, right? I'm probably very tired, sleepy. I'm not going to talk about the theory. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share some experience we had regarding a setup. And this is a system that we proposed in this project. And we actually set it up in Malaysian WBRS, which is similar to my in Malaysia. So I'm going to talk about what we did and what results we have so far. So some kind of data representation or stuff. So the title is Malware Detection and Prevention using CESS. So let me start with CESS. So this is from our previous workshop. So CESS is Cloud-Enabled Security Services, short CESS. So this is this proposed as security as a service. So similar to software as a service, so what we think that security can be provided as a service to the users of the institutions. Okay. So it allows the host providers to provide services to all the users as an institution or as a user. And the security services can be set up in the cloud so that you don't have to do it in individual level, individual institution. So we can take that services centrally in the cloud. That was the original idea that we had. So because it will be in the cloud, so the idea is that it will be cost effective because we have lesser resources to use. And also instead of using services in different institutions, if you centralize it, that means you need less number of software installations and hardware installations in the institutions. So that gives you a cost effectiveness and also more control on how you can control the security setup and security models. So this was the basic thing. So the architecture that we had in mind is that this is our CESS. We have internet, and these are the entities and users. Because it was proposed for the grants and grants. So what the grants does, they provide connectivity to the universities or educational institutions, research institutions. So by setting up in their grants, they can, by default, they can enable the security services to all the universities at the same time. Okay? So this is the basic idea in terms of architecture. So in DCNDS, what we do, this is the part of the proposal that we had. So since there was a budgetary limitations, so it was proposed that we'll set up in only WBRS. The CESS is here, and it will be set up in WBRS, not in other environments. But we will share the data with others. So this is how we discussed CESS in the DCNDS. All right, so our goal was, because it will be integrated in the live system, we didn't want to develop our own thing because it will disrupt the communication live network. So what we wanted to do was set up a proof of concept software or hardware systems that will work out of the box. That is the basic idea. So existing web traffic of WBRS will be diverted through this system CESS. And all the security policies will be enforced here. And the inbound and outbound traffic of the WBRS will also be controlled through this particular system. And CESS will ensure that security policies can be managed centrally. So only the WBRS administrator, they will be able to handle this. And the post-process in terms of research, our target was we'll capture the metadata from the packet that is going through the system. We'll anonymize this data and we also share this data in the research community in the aspects. Okay. So these were our initial targets. So let me talk about how we actually managed to install it. and some of the data present would be got so far. So let me start with the system information. So what we use as a system was Cisco Web Security Appliance or Cisco.ESS. So the reason behind choosing this platform was because we wanted to set it up in VDRAM cloud, and they already had the infrastructure for Cisco. So that was the basic idea, and also Cisco has a very big reputation in terms of analyzing security as well. So the model was S600B. For this, they have their own OS, AsiaConnect. So it was set up in a VMware ESXi, and the disk size we have 1 terabyte disk, 24 gigabytes of RAM, and 12 core processor. So this is the configuration of the VM that is actually installed this system. So to set up, the setup process is actually in design is quite simple. It was quite simple. So we prepare a low-level diagram how it will be installed in the network. We installed the AsiaConnect provided by Cisco in the CD and the VMware. Then we have the license key from the Cisco that we set it up. We made the configuration. It was quite easy because they already have the Cisco routers, so they can transfer the data in transparent mode so that it will not hamper or delay the live traffic. So initially what we did, because it was, we didn't know how it will go. So first what we did, we redirected we didn't have some servers in the cloud. So only put it there so that even if there is a problem, the server data will be problematic, but still the internet connectivity to the institution will still go on. So that was the original setup. So this is the architecture that we have. So this is actually from our MRAN, VDRAM. So they are connected with chain network as well as internet with different providers. This is the installations. They have a router, core router. This is the installations. Currently they connect 74 installations with them. I think the capacity is over 14 or 15, something like this. So the cloud they have is on the right side. You see the figure, and they have a firewall there, and a port switch, and there's the cloud. Okay. So because we have to set it up in the cloud, so we have to set up the CESS here. So now there's a problem here. Can anyone say what is the problem in this particular case? Is there anyone from network administration or something? No? The big problem here is that our original target is to provide services here. So in that case, what will happen? Originally what happens now, if there's a network traffic, it goes, say for installation 1, it goes this part directly. It goes to core router, then top router goes to installation. Now, if you want to enable a security service, now it will go this way, right? The red mark part. So what happens? As soon as we do that, the traffic in the firewall, port switch, and core router doubles. It completely doubles because so one installation has, say, 1G traffic. As soon as you enable the security service, it will go first, then return back. So the capacity has to be twice. So because previously it is handling 1G traffic, now it will have to handle 2G traffic. So this is one of the problems that we have, currently also we have in the network architecture. But we cannot do anything about it at this moment because this is designed originally this way. CESS actually was introduced in the system later on. Okay. So this is one of the problems that we have. Now the challenges that we faced even before the deployment is that the low-level diagram was prepared, how CESS will be integrated in the system. So that is one of the, so we had to sit with the people, how to set it up in the cloud. How the diversion of traffic will work, that is also another design that we have to resolve in terms of routers and switch placements in there. So since this kind of traffic may hamper the regular activity of internet users, so we also have to consider that thing. And also another thing is that we prepared Cisco WCC protocol so that the traffic can be passed in a transparent mode. So what it means, even though the traffic is going through the CESS, it will be transparent to the end user. So the end user will not feel anything that it's with any additional delay or anything. So this is the challenges that we have before we set it up. So now this was our preferred mode of setting it up. So we wanted to set it up in between the core router. In this case, we can directly go to the installation without going through this kind of process. So we still could not solve this problem because it's already there. It's very hard to change the existing mode. So we are going with the previous this architecture that all the traffic will go through this path. So we still do not know how the code router will react or whether it will be able to provide the support for this. Okay, so during the deployment, it was very difficult actually, and in some cases very frustrating. So for the procurement process, we actually was delayed by 1 year. We got everything ready in April this year. So from April we started the installation process, and it took us almost 4 months. So finally we got it up and running in September. So the major problem was that it repeatedly hanged. So once the traffic is going on, it runs like for 1 day, then it's completely hangs. And we have to physically restart it, otherwise it doesn't work. And because it's a kind of new product in Bangladesh, Cisco does not have any tech people for it. So they have tech people in India, so they provide support for them. So it took us like 3 months to resolve all the scenarios. So the major things that we had to solve was there's an issue with the VMware platform. So they have to upgrade the ESX side. They have to upgrade the WBRS version as well. Then they found a bug in their system. They have to disable some of the configurations in their system. So there are high memory issues. So initially the memory was 6 gigabytes, and they upgraded it to 24 gigabytes later on. But initially they said it will work on 6 gigabytes. And also some of the reporting files were corrupted, so they have to delete some of the files in the backend so that it works again. So these are some of the challenges that we face during the deployment process. So since actually from last September, at the end of last September, we started getting the data that we wanted. So now what I'm going to show some of the data that we received so far. So this is the data from October 2019. Okay. And as I said before, we are only, so currently what the system is, it is not set up for institution yet. So this is only enabled for the cloud servers. So the only traffic that we are considering right now is this traffic up to this. So internet to this server. So we have done another topic for the institution and so hopefully we will do that in upcoming weeks. So for this part, what we got so far, this transaction means the number of packets that passes through. So on average for October there is 273 packets per second, which is about 23 megabytes, 23.5 million per second. So maximum that we have in a particular time is 730, which is around 49 million per day. So for a server, the server that is hosted there is mostly educational server. It's not like commercial services. For that, this is quite large, 49 million per day. So I'll show later. This is basically from different kind of attacks that is coming. So average bandwidth that we see is 27 Mbps, and maximum that we found was 1.2 Gbps for the service. Average connection was 6,000, but maximum we have 33,000 for the whole month. And we have total of 217K. The user means unique IP addresses. So in this last month we have 217,000 unique IP addresses that came to this service. So these are the top 10 users, that means IPs that we detected. 4 are from France, 3 from Germany, and 1 from US, Japan, and Russia. So the most came from the France. They use the most bandwidth as well. And later on, these are on average. So what we found later on, these are actually from different attacks. So there's attacks from France, these IPs, and that became the highest the bandwidth users. And also the top user means which particular IP use most number of connections, and that also similar to the previous one. The notable difference is that the top 4 is still France, but there is one from Bulgaria that did not show up in our top in terms of bandwidth setting. So it used less bandwidth, but still in terms of transaction it was in the top 5. So this is in terms of IP address. So for one of the target that we have in this for CESS platform is to detect the malware and prevent those. So malware means any type of virus, what kind of things. I'm not going to the So the way it works is there is a web reputation filters. So reputation filters, there is different algorithms available. So Cisco has its own algorithm. So what it does, it uses domain owners, hosting server where the domain is hosted, or where the IP address, reverse IP lookup where it is originated, the time, the type of the user. So it uses all those information as a metadata, and it calculates a number, pin number. So number is between -10 to +10. And they apply it to block, allow, or further scanning a particular value. Okay, there's 3 decisions, only 3. Okay. So in terms of their configurations, so if it is less than -6, it will be blocked. So the packet will be blocked there, it will not go to the user. If it is +6, greater than or equal to +6, it will be allowed by default. Okay? So there will be no further scanning, it will pass to the end user. And when it is in the middle, that means -6 to +6, then they will scan it further, another step. Then they will either pass it to the user or they will block it based on the second step analysis. So this is how it works, the whole system. So let's see how, in terms of what we see from the web reputation. So for the month of October, there were 82 million transactions was blocked, which is around 12% of the whole transactions. So whole transaction is over 706 million. So out of that, 12% was blocked at the router, so it does not pass through. And only 55 million, so this was only allowed by default because they have the reputation of +6 or more. Now the middle category, this is actually the higher category. So they have these two sections, scan further. So those things, they either scan one more step, after that they pass as clean, which is 80% of the total traffic. And of that, they also detected malware for 0.05%. So that means further analysis detected 323K malware further, which is not detected by the reputation filter. So reputation filter actually does not look at the packets. Okay? From their algorithm, they create a score. So once the score is suspicious, then they actually goes into looking into the packet for analysis. So this is a graphical representation of the whole thing. If we look at here, so most of the packets are actually further analyzed because according to the system they are suspicious, and around 20% of the packets they are either allowed or blocked in the first layer, move to the second layer. Okay, so let me give you how it works. So what we can look at what is the trend of the traffic. Okay. So this is the block traffic for the whole month, and you can see it's mostly average, but there are 5 spikes, okay, which represents some attacks on those days from different, not only one IP, from different areas. Okay. So that changes the traffic pattern as well. Okay. So this is, as I said, this is from October. So this is the block traffic. The highest that we see here is around 27 million in one day. So this is the traffic that you see for malware detected after second step analysis. So again, there's some, this is more like regular, there's some up and down, but only you can say there's one high spike. Okay. So later on we'll combine the whole thing. So this is clean traffic, so after further analysis, we clean the whole thing. And we can say this is also, does not go too much. It will be clear if you look at the last slide. And this is the allowed traffic. So if I look at this, this is all together. So look bottom. So the green is allowed. And the scan further malware, this is almost like very normal. If you look at from global view, they do not change much. But if you look at the scan further key and the attack, it actually shows the existence of the attack. So if there is more attack, that means there will be further analysis. Further analysis means either it will be clean or it will be wrong. So the spike will go when there is more attack. So we cannot really still working on many things. So this is very hard to find correlation. So the attack can be from anywhere, from any time. So far we did not see any correlation there. So this is the reputation scores that we saw. So as I said, the reputation is between -10 to +10. So some of the interesting thing here is that when there is a, as I said, if it is 6 to -6, it will be blocked. But in the boundary conditions, so -5 to -6, this is supposed to be blocked by default according to the configuration. So what we see is still they are scanning some of the packets further in this block. Okay, they are not blocking by default, which in terms of configuration they are supposed to do. So we still do not know why they are doing it. So we are still talking to Cisco whether this is a boundary conditions or whether this is a normal scenario. So similar thing happens in the other boundary. So +6 it is supposed to be passed through by default, but then it's still looking at some packets in between for further analysis. Okay. So this could be a boundary condition, but according to the configuration, this should not happen. So also we wanted to look at what is the trend for the reputation score. So reputation score, as I said, this is algorithm based on Cisco. So it's almost the boundary, the 5 to 5.9. This has the highest number of transactions in terms of reputation. So most of the 160 million transactions was in this, and also if you look at 6 to 7, this is also very high. And these are all negative figures, which show these are malware sizes or attacks. So this shows that the reason that the system has high scan failure because those scores are in the boundary areas 5 to 7. So they have to analyze. Analysis means you can detect or you must. But this actually is configurable. If admin wants, admin can actually change the range of the filter. So for example, you can set up, okay, I only for +8 to +10, I pass the filter. Okay, so we can do that. Or you can even lower the score if you want. So for the case of suspicious, which is 10 further. So what we see so far, in the 99.94% case, the traffic is actually clean after further analysis. And only 0.06% case they detect malware after the second analysis, which is actually a good number, 196K. That with after further analysis, is still able to detect almost 200K malware transactions, okay, which was not possible in the first case using the reputation score. Okay. So this was based on the reputation score. In the next one, in this phase, what happened? I talked about different type of malwares that was detected by the system. And this is, not for the block traffic. So block traffic are by default. So there is no data from that. So this is after you allow a traffic or if you, scan a traffic. So you detect some type of things there. So this is those threats that we discussed. So this is again from October 2019. So most of the attack that we see, so this is basically the categories that we get from Cisco. Okay. So the most of the attack is phishing attack. The second is malware sites. Okay, so the traffic is coming from malware sites into the system. So these are the most things. So this is like I think 4.8 million phishing and 3.2 million for malware. And others are very small, Spire 59,000. We have also seen some botnets around 5,600. And also some malicious sites, these are very small numbers, this is the major two categories that we see in the record. So in terms of daily uses, again, we look at the block numbers. So there is attacks in particular days, if you remember. So there are 5 spikes in the data. And in those specific days, we have very high malware size. So what it means, on those days, when the attack quality the traffic was coming from those servers continuously to the system. So which resulted in this spike, and as a result, they detected these malwares. Phishing, we didn't have too much, only a couple of spikes between 20 and 25. This is also happened from one particular country's data. Botnet, we had only very few data in terms of botnet, but it was interestingly, there is every day there is something. So that means it is like a continuously trying to infiltrate the system. So we saw something across today, right? How they're trying botnets, how they're trying to expand the bot. So from different identities. So botnet attacks is, even though it is very small, but continuously we see botnet attacks in the system. Another thing could be that the reason that botnet attack is very smaller in the system is because I think today, doctors, you will see tomorrow as well. It's very difficult to detect the botnets, especially with the newly designed P2P network system. So even if the botnet attack may be happening, the system may not be detected. So this is one of the problems that we may have in this type of system. So this is a threat detected by the web replication filters. So when the web replication filter detected the threat, they categorize why they blocked, why the reputation score was so low. There are gambling sites, there were illegal activities like downloads, the IPs that provide download services, there are pornographic sites, there's weapons, the IPs that provide weapon services or sell weapons. So these are one of the threats detected by the WBRS. So in terms of malware categories, they provide some classification of the malwares. What type of malware it is. So one is virus, that is obvious. PWA is the potentially unwanted applications. That is one category. And this is a major one. So this is when they cannot actually say which virus or malware it is. Okay, so they know this is a malware, but they do not know what malware it is. They cannot match the same. So this is the most one. The reason being, I think Dr. Silva says today. So the malware is rising every day, right? Because every day there is new malwares. People are creating their own malwares very easily. So it's very difficult to, even if you can match, there is no name. There are all but there is a generic name we'll see later on. There are some generic names in the same class, but they do not have like single name that they can identify. So most of the malware goes into that category, the other one. So they fall into one particular category, but do not have any. So this is the malware that detected in October on a daily basis. So you see there is a very high spike on I think 4th October. So there is like 16,000 malware detected in one day. On other days this is kind of normal. So if we look at if we past that, so this is the virus detected on October. So there's like no correlations. So you cannot see any correlations between them. So there is spike on 4th October. We do not see anything here on the virus. Okay. So what it means basically the attacks are independent of each other. So someone is attacking with malware, someone is attacking with virus. There's not like coordinated attack. You don't see that here so far. So this is PUA, potentially unwanted applications. This is not too much. So only we have the maximum, I think, 350 per day, which is highest in 1 month. But in general, it is less than 100 on average. So this is combined everything. So again, we can't really see any correlations. So if I remove this part, the spike, it looks like this. Okay. So again, we can see there's the malware is the dominant on all those three categories. Okay. That means malware is coming in more than everything else. PUA is virus is very small with some spikes in certain days. And PUA is very normal in mostly all the days. But it's still very early to compare. We're still collecting data from November and collect data in analytics that maybe we'll be able to compare better how they're working together. So this is the category that I was talking about. This is, the name comes from Cisco. So there's some of the things we can understand. So bias inner, DDoS CIA is like Trojan attacks. I think FunDiac also are known in the research community. But these are, some of the things that they cannot identify, but they can categorize generally. So they say it's malware.gen. Okay, so the way they identify, they give some extensions. So which category of malware it is? It could be like 3rd generation, 4th generation, next generation, Y generation, like this. So there is a chart that shows which comes first, which comes second, like this. So every day there's a new generation of attacks in terms of that. So this is the category that was talking about. This is the category that shows the other malware. So mostly all goes into the same category. In terms of PUA, there's mostly coin miners. So there's a new type of attack that we are seeing is the big miner. So they do not do any harm to your PC. So they are kind of botnets, but they steal the resource of your PC. They use the RAM processors for mining, or it could be Bitcoin, it could be something else. So they do not do any specific harm like ransomware or delete your files or corrupt your files. But they just use your resources. And also that is what we see so far. It will not use like 100% of your things. It will be on the background, consuming 10%, 50%, so that we do not know that something is happening. So this is the new type of malware that we are seeing more and more. And these miners are also available for mobile phones. So in the mobile phone there's miners that uses the resources of the mobile phone. Okay, so in terms of threats, we see 77% of the threats, these are from generic 9, Gen X 9 series. that we detected in October. And also the ENOR, VBS ENOR is 12%, and there's some others they with the rest. So these are the major type of malware that we detected in October. So in terms of daily threat, the malware that we detected, this is for app. I think it's called Shift. So I don't really see any trend how there is continuously every day they have some data, sometimes it's not. For J minor, we have a spike on 29, which correlates with one of the attacks that we see in the system. For Malgen, so this is the same. I saw one attack in the 3rd October. So the same thing that given rise to Malgen. So Malgen, this is kind of one day attack. After that, it didn't really happen after that day. Okay. So once the attack was not successful, so they moved on to next target. They did not try to re-attack the system. This is MelJJ. So these are the things, they try to continuously infiltrate some of the attacks. It comes from same IPs over and over and over. They do not stop even though they are blocked in the first place. So some of the attacks comes continuously, some of the attacks they stop after 1 or 2 days. VBS ENOR, this is also similar trend. So it has an attack on a couple of days, other days is quite normal. So this is the trend that we see, if you combine all those things. I think the Malgen, as we showed before, Malgen X, this is the highest type of malware that we see over the period. And then we have the VBS ENOR as the second. And then we have the other attacks that we can. Okay, so this is combined, all those things. So interestingly, when we look at what is actually the reputation score of this malware that we detected. So this is like normal, so this is supposed to be negative. This was very interesting. MalJJ, this has positive score, and in some cases the score was 9.5. So 9.5 means basically it will be allowed by default. That means you're not actually blocking the data. But later on, what happened, because it was in the scan zone, in some cases they were able to scan it further and identify the data. So what it shows is that when you have the reputation of high score, and if you can attack from a reputed site, it could be by hacking or it could be from other ways, it will likely to pass through the system because of the high reputation. Okay? Once it becomes suspicious, then it will be analyzed further, then it can be detected. So this is one of the, I think, limitations. But there is it's not even in terms of network. It's very difficult to scan everything. So you have to have a system that passes through some of the traffic. You have to trust someone, but still there is a possibility that some of the attacks will also go through when you're passing the weak traffic. So this is one of the interesting things we saw in the system. So we also wanted to look at where the attack is originating. So this is a graph of 100 top attacker IPs. So we geolocated their IPs. So most of the attacks, you see these are. This is in the China region. This is the France or Europe, and we see some from Asia, and there are some from US. In terms of percentage. So this was actually quite surprising to me, because France, we see France as a 26%, and you have China 24%, US 19%, and then Russia 11%. In the research community or in the security community, it is like quite normal to see if you ask what the two attackers country in terms of country, it will be China and Russia, or Ukraine, related to Russia. So in our case, we saw a lot of traffic from France, and this is we don't know later on. This is probably like 4 or 5 attacks originated from those particular IPs. So this could be specific attacks, but maybe not a group, general trend of the attacks. So we still do not know. So based on the data that we have from October, so France leading that way, and Russia is still not there. So with more data, we may be able to see actually where the attacks are actually coming from. But in general, China, US, and Russia, these are the most originator of the attacks in the global scenario. Okay. So we're supposed to see the same trend here as well. Okay, so we wanted to also analyze if there's any correlation in terms of hours. So this is still too early to see. So we tried to, for a random date, 13 October, we tried to see whether there's any pattern of the traffic. So the green ones are clean transactions, the red ones are the suspects. And this is from 1 month later. So we cannot really see any correlations between them. So it shows there is high reds here. So what it means is it could be attacks going on in this particular period. But so far, not too much correlation in terms of on hour basis or on the month basis. So this will happen if you have like so if you set up an attack that goes on a specific day, so a specific day of the month. So you do not see that kind of attack here. So this is suspected transactions. So this is correlated to this one. So you see a high number of suspects. So this will also correlate with the web repression filters and malware detections. So that high attack means it's likely to be more scanning in the packet. It could be detected or it could be in terms of detection, there's also there's not it's not dependent on the hour. So the more attack you have, the more detection you have. If the system can detect it. But it's very hard to find a correlation whether there is an attack in a specific time of day or time of specific date, range, or an hour range. So it is like distributed in the whole day. So this is a comparison from 2 days. So we wanted to compare 2 days because they have, on average, they have similar trends if you look at the whole day. But when we look at minutely in the hour basis, there is like not a correlation in terms of 2 days. So on Sunday we see a high spike, and later on it's very normal. And on the fifth, there are like 2-3 spikes out there. But if you look at in general for the whole day, they are almost simultaneous. So even though what we're looking at is, even though it maybe seems regular on a daily data, it may not be same in the hourly basis data, or even if you look at further in the daily basis. So that's what we have so far in terms of data that we have. We have only 1 month of data. We are still analyzing the data from November. So the next step for us is to continue the collect the data from the same setup that we have so far. So we will also collect data from the education institute. So I showed you we only have one link available. The CESS is deployed for the servers only. But we're going to activate CESS for education institute one by one. So we will also see some of the trends. So now what happens is when you deploy CESS for servers, you're basically seeing one-way traffic. The server is serving. There is no origination from the server. So when you deploy it for the users, we see two-way traffic. Because user will try to browse different websites, so we'll go those traffic as well. So we're thinking we'll get some interesting results from that as well. So we'll collect data from the education institute as well. And the next, also one of the steps that we have is anonymize this data for sharing research for data. So to conclude, so in our experience so far, it's a good idea to provide service from a central location. If you look at the results, it's providing security service to the servers that was not there before, even though they had a firewall. Okay, so they have a firewall, but still they had to get attacked after the firewall, which was not available. That means with this type of service, the servers are more secure than before. And so it has the advantages. When you have the system in the cloud, it minimizes any administration work. It gives you a better perspective on how to deal with things. But also this is very challenging in terms of resource utilization. So as I said, we have a very large VM for this, and we cannot keep all the data because we have limitation on how much data we can save. Limitation on we have 2 terabytes of data for one. We keep one in the line. We keep some anonymized data in the backup. But still, we already used like 700 or 800 gigabytes in 1 month. That means in this month, we have to delete some of the data. We cannot keep all of those. So these are one of the things. When we have more users, we need more infrastructure requirements. We need more RAMs, more powerful VMs with higher processor. So this is challenging, but I think still it gives some additional security to the end user. Because now, if you remember the traffic, it goes completely bypassed without any security checking. That means end users can be very vulnerable at that. If you do not use like antivirus or some availability to be infected. So if the traffic can be passed through this kind of system, it will be added security to the end users. So because some of the malwares are blocked at the entrance, so end users will be more secure than that. So in terms of botnet, which is related to us, so our analysis shows so far 12% data is there for October. So for all the traffic that is 12% of the data is there. So that means if you are not going through the system, those 12% data will actually end up in the user end. So they go to the user that will be infected. So 3/4 of the attack originated from 4 countries. So those are the majority attack originated. And we see botnet detection count is low, very low in the system, which may be due to the difficulty of detecting the bonus. So we'll continue to do this analysis. So hopefully in the upcoming workshop we will know better. With that, thank you very much.